If you ever felt drained because you were expected to manage, fix, or take responsibility for the emotional turmoil of your entire family or partner, especially when your own feelings were dismissed or invalidated, you know what the exhausting scapegoat role feels like. You might remember walking on eggshells, constantly scanning the room to gauge everyone's mood, knowing that somehow, someway, their bad day would become your fault. You learned to absorb their anger, their disappointment, their frustration, while your own emotions were treated like inconveniences or weapons against the family peace.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. J.D. Power ranks Sleep Number #1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store and online. And now, the more you buy, the more you save on beds, bases, and more. Plus, get free home delivery on most beds with base. Limited time. For J.D. Power 2025 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Check it out at a Sleep Number store today.
Protein is now at Starbucks, and it's never tasted so good. Try our all-new caramel protein lattes with up to 31 grams of protein and options with no added sugar.
Level up, level up, level up, level up, level up.
Level up your drink at Starbucks.
Welcome back to the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Podcast. I'm Lynn, your host. Today, we're talking about one of the most draining aspects of the scapegoat experience, being made responsible for everyone else's emotional world while your own feelings are completely dismissed. This pattern runs deep in narcissistic family systems and relationships. The person who scapegoats you places the burden of their emotional chaos squarely on your shoulders to avoid facing their own accountability. It's not about you being overly sensitive or naturally responsible for others. This is a deliberate pattern where emotions become both a weapon and a tool to maintain control. Here's what's really happening. Whoever's in the power position needs someone to blame for their internal turmoil. They can't face the reality that their anger, their depression, their constant dissatisfaction might actually be their own responsibility to manage. So they externalize it. They make it about you. In family systems, you might have been blamed for a parent's bad mood after work, even when you'd barely interacted with them that day. Your normal childhood behavior, being loud, needing attention, having opinions, suddenly became the cause of their irritability. If there was conflict between family members, somehow your presence or your actions were framed as the catalyst, even when the real issues had nothing to do with you. In adult relationships, this looks like a partner who refuses to own their insecurities or anger. They blame you for making them upset or accuse you of being too sensitive when you have legitimate concerns. Every conversation about your feelings gets hijacked and turned into their emotional crisis. You end up managing their moods while your own emotional needs get completely ignored. The exhausting part isn't just carrying their emotions, it's the complete invalidation of yours. Your feelings were treated like they didn't matter, or worse, like they were dangerous threats to the family's or relationship's stability. You learned that expressing sadness, anger, or even joy could trigger massive reactions from the people who were supposed to care about you. You might have experienced being told you were too much when you showed excitement, or too dramatic when you expressed hurt. Your legitimate emotional responses to mistreatment were reframed as you being the problem. Meanwhile, everyone else's emotions, especially the person in power, were treated as sacred, important, and absolutely your responsibility to manage. This creates a devastating double bind. You become hyper-responsible for everyone's emotional state while simultaneously learning that your own emotions are unwelcome or wrong. You develop this exhausting hypervigilance, constantly monitoring and adjusting yourself to keep the peace, while slowly disconnecting from your own inner world because it's been deemed irrelevant or problematic. The person avoiding accountability uses your emotions against you in another way too. When you do express frustration or hurt about how you're being treated, they flip it around. Suddenly, you're the one causing drama. You're the one making everything about yourself. Your valid response to mistreatment becomes evidence that you're selfish, difficult, or mentally unstable. This isn't accidental. It's a way to maintain power and avoid responsibility. If they can convince you that you're responsible for their emotional state, they never have to do the hard work of managing their own feelings or addressing their own issues. If they can make your emotions seem dangerous or wrong, you'll stop advocating for yourself. You might have found yourself constantly apologizing for their bad moods, for family tension, for things that had nothing to do with you. You learned to make yourself smaller, quieter, less present, hoping that would finally create the peace everyone claimed to want. But it never worked, did it? Because the problem was never actually you. Here's what you need to know. Emotions aren't supposed to be weapons. Healthy families and relationships don't operate with one person carrying everyone else's emotional burdens while their own feelings are dismissed. You weren't born to be everyone's emotional dumping ground. Your feelings matter. They've always mattered. The fact that the people around you couldn't handle your full emotional range says everything about their limitations and nothing about your worth. You deserved to have your emotions acknowledged, validated, and respected, not used against you or treated like inconveniences. The exhaustion you felt wasn't weakness. It was a normal human response to an abnormal situation. You were being asked to do something impossible, fix other people's internal worlds while having no real power or agency. You were being held responsible for outcomes you couldn't control while your own needs were completely ignored. You weren't too sensitive. You weren't too much. You weren't the cause of their emotional problems. You were a convenient target for people who couldn't face their own stuff. When you think about how emotions were managed or mismanaged around you, where do you see the lines drawn between whose feelings were honored and whose were used against you? Notice the patterns without trying to fix anything. Just observe. Thanks for being here today. If you're working through the ways patriarchy has shaped your family dynamics and your own internalized beliefs, I want you to know this work matters. Unlearning generations of conditioning isn't easy, but it's how we break these cycles. Before we wrap up, I want to make sure you know about the resources available to support this journey. If you're ready to dive deeper, I've created Forward Rising Academy with an Intro to Narcissistic Abuse Recovery course that is a great comprehensive course to get you started on this path. You can find that along with somatic healing sessions and our recovery workbook at waketheelephant.gumroad.com. And if you're finding value in these episodes, we have ad-free versions and bonus content over on Supercast at narcissisticabuserecovery.supercast.com. For additional resources, visit our website at movingforwardafterabuse.com. This is Lynn, and this has been another episode of the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Podcast. I'll see you in the next one. This podcast is for educational and informational purposes only. The content shared is not a substitute for professional mental health advice, diagnosis, or treatment. If you are experiencing a mental health crisis, please seek help from a qualified professional or contact a local crisis hotline.
In a world where January is supposed to be boring, one staple of the holidays refuses to end. The great deals at Verizon. The joy just keeps on coming. Right now, you can save on 4 new phones and 4 lines. critics agree. It's the deal that keeps on giving. Come into Verizon and save on 4 new phones and 4 lines on unlimited welcome. Additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
Big news! Boost Mobile is now sending experts nationwide to deliver and set up customers' new phones at home or work.
Wait, we're going on tour?
Not a tour. We're delivering and setting up customers' phones so it's easier to upgrade.
Let's get in the tour bus and hit the road.
No, not a tour bus. It's a regular car we use to deliver and set up customers' phones at home or work.
Are you a groupie on this tour?
We deliver and set up phones. It's not a tour.
Oh, you're definitely a groupie.
Introducing Store to Door. Switch and get a new device with expert setup and delivery wherever you're at.
Delivery available for select devices purchased at boostmobile.com.
Knock, knock.
Ooh, who's there?
A Boost Mobile expert, here to deliver and set up your all-new iPhone 17 Pro, designed to be the most powerful iPhone ever.
You call that a knock-knock joke?
This isn't a joke. Boost Mobile really sends experts to deliver and set up your phone at home or work.
Okay, well, it's just that when people say knock-knock, there's usually a joke to go with it.
Like I said, this isn't a joke.
So the knock-knock was just you knocking?
Yeah, that's how doors work.
Get the new iPhone 17 Pro delivered and set up by an expert wherever you are. Delivery available for select devices purchased at boostmobile.com. Terms apply.